Guitar pedals are gosh darn expensive. Take this Clon Centaur for example. This thing is 5K a pop. I mean, who has that kind of money? Obviously not me, cause this thing is obviously edited. What I do have here is a clone of the Clon. So here's the plan. We're gonna build our own distortion pedal, and we're also gonna see just how cheap we can make it. Let's get started. I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea how pedals work. So let's crack open this overdrive pedal and figure out what we're dealing with. Okay, so that looks like a capacitor, and that's another capacitor. And I think those are resistors. And oh my god, what the fuck am I looking at? Why does this look like a motherboard? Okay, we're getting ahead of ourselves here. Why don't we take a step back and first figure out how the fuck does sound go from here to here to there? So it goes queen. So this is an electric guitar, but you probably already knew that. The magic happens in these things called the pickups. They generate a small electrical signal using a process called electromagnetic induction. Ooh, which basically means that these vibrating metal strings mess with the magnetic field to generate a small electric signal. So that's why it's called an electric guitar. Thought it had batteries or something. To visualize it, this is a waveform of a 261 Hz sound, or C4 in music. This is what you're hearing right now. The amplitude of the wave represents the loudness, while the frequency of the wave determines the pitch. In an electric signal, the amplitude of the voltage represents the loudness, and the frequency of the alternating current represents the pitch. Sound itself isn't passed through the wire, but rather the electric signal that represents that exact sound is. So essentially what a pedal does is that it manipulates this electric signal to distort the sound. Now that we've covered the basics, it's time to build. Here's how it sounds. This is what it sounds when it's clean. There's a lot of hum and buzz when you're not playing, but it's good enough. It's distorted. If we were to stop there, it would cost around $5.24 to build. I still want to fix the hum and the buzz, but this is good enough for a version 1. Let's put it in a box to make it look like an actual pedal. But before we box it up, let me walk you through the different stages of a distortion pedal, how this thing actually works. So the first stage is the buffer stage. There's an input buffer at the beginning and an output buffer at the end. These stages are essential for preserving the integrity of the signal, ensuring a consistent tone as it passes through the pedal. Next is the tone stage. This is usually placed after the clipping stage. This is where we can shape the sound using high or low pass filters, controlled by a potentiometer. Since I'm planning to chain this pedal with others that already have tone controls, I decided not to include a tone stage, as it would be redundant. Finally, the most important part, the clipping stage. This is where the sound gets distorted, giving it that gritty and aggressive tone. So how does clipping work? Clipping occurs when the amplitude of a signal exceeds a certain threshold, causing the waveform to be cut off at the top and the bottom. Take that 261 Hz sine wave that we had earlier. Before clipping, it has a parabolic shape. After clipping, it gets flattened down at the peaks, essentially creating a squared off version of the waveform. If we look at the frequency spectrum, we can see that the distorted wave is no longer just a 261 Hz frequency. Because of abrupt changes in the waveform, clipping introduces additional frequencies known as harmonics. Ooh. So instead of just hearing that 261 Hz, you'll also hear frequencies that are multiples of that 261 Hz frequency. Something cool that I found that isn't about clipping or distortion anymore, but if we look at the even harmonics, they're frequencies of C, but the third and the fifth harmonic are frequencies of G and E. So if we play this chord, oops, not that one, this one, That's a C major chord, and it sounds good. As if they're all in harmony. That's why it's called a harmonic. But I don't know why this doesn't sound good. But I know this sounds good. I know it sounds good because we're playing the 3rd and 5th harmonic, which is a G sharp and a D sharp, this one. It's not the best chord, but it's not that bad. That's pretty cool. Wait, so is music just math?
Always has been.
Okay, so now we've discussed all the stages, we've soldered everything to a board, we put it in a box, it all works, right? After putting it in a box, I tried it out and it doesn't work. So I tried again and again, trying to do something different each time, but I just couldn't get it to work. So I decided that I needed a breather and tried a different approach. We were previously attempting to create an analog distortion pedal, so I thought of making a digital distortion pedal to spice things up. So I bought a Teensy 4.0. This thing cost $27 and I ended up bricking it. Like, it doesn't turn on anymore. I'm an idiot. Yeah, I'm not gonna spend another $27 to make this work. And with that, I'm forced to go back to finish that analog distortion pedal. This time around, I made sure that each stage worked before proceeding. And because I did this, I found it. I found the issue. I was trying to simplify my circuit to have less wires, and in that process, I messed up the grounding. I fixed the grounding by separating the grounds from the power and the grounds from the signal. And not only did it make it work, it also removed the buzz. Pretty annoying. I'm not even playing like... With version 2, we were able to fix that. Listen to this. No hum. Awesome. That's pretty cool. And here it is. I call it the pie because these bends are so sweet and savory that it'll fill you up like a cream. This is the lowest setting on distortion. And let's crank it up a little bit. Ooh, you hear that? Ooh. Then we can also crank up the volume. Holy shit! Too much. When you want to just play clean, you can just do this. Now it's clean. So the total price for everything in this pedal comes down to $10.91. Overall, it's good enough for a very simple distortion pedal. And that's really what I was striving for, was good enough. It's a sixth of the price of a commercial distortion pedal like the Rat, so I think it makes sense that it's also a sixth of its quality. This project was frustrating, but all in all, it was pretty fun. Who am I kidding? This project has made me numb. Comfortably numb. If you want to see another fun project, check out this video where I tried fixing my posture with the help of AI. Also, there's a way that you can make one for free using the Juicy++ framework.